What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back with another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last time around, we had a nice little picnic with the girls, and we went with Rena to a little garbage site, which we found this photographer who told us that there was a murder and they'd never found one of the arms. And when we asked Rena about it, she acted weird. So, yeah, let's get right to it. Let's view some new tips, shall we? Okay. Now, there's two things. I want to read this newspaper edition. The damn site murder. It's probably just going to be reading. From the June XX 1979 edition. The Shishibone City Okayama Police Station, June XX, late at night. Suspects were arrested on suspicion of murder and improper disposal of a corpse. The main offender has been added to wanted list nationwide. According to our sources, the 6 suspects were at the Amazon Dam construction site workroom on the blank at 9 p.m., where they are suspected to have assaulted and murdered the site overseer as a group, dismembering the body and hiding it. On the blank at 8 o'clock in the morning, a report was filed by the Shishibone City Hospital in which a male suspect alluded to having murdered a male. When questioned at the police station, the individual confessed to the crime. Since a portion of the body was recovered at the location he gave, he was arrested that afternoon on suspicion of murder and mutilation of a corpse. The rest of the suspects were arrested the same day, but the main culprit is still at large. Police are currently on his trail. The motive is purported to be a drunken verbal dispute during which he killed the victim in a fit of anger. However, as there are multiple inconsistencies with their testimonies, the investigation is ongoing. 1979. Okay, interesting. The Mary Barwa Manor. Oh, what's this? 1979, huh?
ケイちゃんってさ、
なんだよ突然。俺がいつ高級車で投稿したよ。
月の小遣いはいくらもらってる？
Nothing.
あら、結構小市民的ですのね。
Why do you shut your mouth, Sadako?
お弁当のおかずも普通ですよ。お金持ちじゃないです。
What are they talking about? To be asked out of nowhere how much I get and then told that's a plebeian amount.
ごめんね、ごめんね。
Lena seemed to pick up on my dubious expression and started giggling.
ケイちゃんちってさ、すっごく大きいでしょ？だから建築中からひなみ沢中で前原屋敷って呼ばれて注目の的だったんだよ。
Barra Manor?
あんなに大きいお家だから、どんなお金持ちなのかなってみんなで噂し合ってたの。
I see. Now I get it. Well, the frame of it is huge. See how it could cause some misunderstandings.
私の推理では、お家を建てるのにお金をかけすぎて貧乏になってしまったと考えてますのよ。
Yeah, totally.
貧乏でかわいそうかわいそうです。
I'm not broke, goddammit. It's called middle class. Rika-chan took pity on me as she patted my head. I go from being treated like a millionaire to a beggar.
ああ、諸君らの楽しい想像をぶち壊すようで悪いが、うちは金持ちでも貧乏でもないぞ。極めて平均的な普通の家庭だ。
あれだけ大きな家は普通とは言わないって。しかも玄関は立派で、門は大型車も入れるようになってるし。
So, it's just a big house.
絶対普通じゃないって。
They do say the bigger your house, the more prosperous you are. Prosperous? Prosperous. Prosperous? Not even one attempt. The reason the house is so big is because Dad's studio's in it too. There are a bunch of different workshops and lots of his works are hung up in different places. All of them are huge too. For those reasons, the family actually uses only a third of the house for day-to-day living. He planned it out so people in cars could come in to see the gallery he opens up in the house someday. By the way, the entranceway Neon is talking about is the one for the studio and is normally sealed off. Oh, there's the gate right there, which my mouse, you guys cannot see, is pointing at. The entranceway that my Bauer family actually uses is a very plain and simple one. The interior is much different from how it looks on the outside.
ぜひ今度ケイちゃんの家を探検してみたいよな。お金持ちじゃないと主張しながらもあの邸宅。
Yeah, it is a pretty big house,
一
actually.
体何が隠されているのか。
Dead bodies.
かいいものが隠されてるといいな。は
God damn it, Winna.
きっと家具を買うお金もなくなってて殺風景な部屋がいっぱいなのですわ。絨毯のお部屋ならぜひゴロゴロしてみたいですよ。わあ、それいいね、それいいね。レナもゴロゴロしたい。
Seems like their imaginations were just piling on. Well, sometime in the near future, it wouldn't be too bad to invite them all to my house. Dad is a sucker for the waiters, so he might even let them look around his studio. The cry of the Higurashi crescendoed as the sky towered over everything. It was hot, but the air was clear. It smelled like the beginning of summer. And what an eventful summer is going to be, because we're probably going to get murdered at some point, or discover a cult, or something along those lines. I mean, come on. Alright, let's continue on, shall we? On to chapter 3.
ランディ君人形？
Oh yeah, the Colonel Randy.
そりゃレナのツボだわな。
レナがサトコやリカちゃんをお持ち帰りしたくなるのはわかる。
I don't.
だがランディ君人形だけは理解できないぞ。あんなメガネ親父のどこがいいんだ。
It's a collector's item, man.
そりゃあレナに直接聞けばいいじゃん。どうせだって可愛いんだもんしか言わないだろうけどさ。
レナはよくあそこ工事現場のとこへ宝探しに行くのか？
ちょくちょく見に行くって言ってましたです。
しかし年頃の女の子がゴミあさりね。
Oh yeah.
レナが楽しいならいいんだと思いますです。
あそこはなんだよ。ダムの工事現場だったのか？
It had been bugging me since yesterday, like an itch I couldn't scratch. Speaking of itches that can't be scratched, check out in the
何
corner.
年か前に中止になっちゃったけどね。
みんなで力を合わせて戦いましたです。
Hearing an ominous word like fought come from Wika-chan's mouth startled me.
そうそう。
Yeah, just traditionalist people. Don't like new shit.
何しろとんでもない話だったんだよ。ひなみ沢が丸ごとダム湖に沈むことに一方的になってさ。
So I'm only able to be here because the protest succeeded.
ごめんねごめんね。
Actually, if it was the overseer of the dam construction site getting murdered, and the citizens didn't want the dam to be constructed, isn't that a bit too convenient that, oh, the overseer of the construction mysteriously died? They were all in on it. All the goddamn citizens, they're all in on it, goddammit. I know it.
待たせちゃったかな申し訳ありませんわねケイチさん。お化粧直しに時間をかけちゃいまして。
サトコ、
Shut up.
便所には溜めてから行け。一気に出せて楽で早いぞ。
キャッ、花も恥じらう乙女になんて口の利き方。
Shut up. Who was she calling a maiden? Sadako really was a maiden. She wouldn't have reacted like that. The usual hijinks insured. Insurance. Geico. Car insurance.
今日は快速に乗っ取り、部員の諸君に是非を問いたい。彼、前原圭一君を新たな部員として我らの部活動に加えたいのだが、いかがだろうか。
Wasn't I already part of it?
レナは意義なーし。
Oh shut up, you.
貧民風情が私の相手を務められるかしら。僕も貞子も賛成しますですよ。
The three that Mion had curried voiced their approval.
全会一致。おめでとう、前原圭一君。
Gee, thanks.
君に栄えある我が部への入部試験を許可する。
Excuse
順を追っ
me?
て説明しろ。俺はまだ入るとは言ってないぞ。何の部活だ？
我が部はだな。複雑化する社会に対応するため、活動ごとに提案される様々な条件が、
Well, you see, it's a literature club.
時には準教、あるいは逆境からいかにして。
レナは弱いからいじめないでほしいな。仲良くやろうね。レナさんは甘えてますわ。弱い者は食い尽くされるのが世の常なのでございますわよ。
This was starting to sound a bit sketchy. So what kind of club was it? Oh, it's just a murder club. Don't
み
worry
んな
about
で
it.
ゲームして遊ぶ部活なのです。
Oh. Mika-chan was the only one to answer my question with a permanent response. Gaming club! So basically this club put Mion's hobby of collecting games to use. Like playing the various games that Mion had hoarded every day. It seemed that depending on the day there were prizes for the winner or a penalty for the person who finished in last place.
先に断っとくけど、ままごと遊びみたいなレベルじゃないからね。一生いっぱいに命がかかってるくらい本気でかかった方がいいよ。
Alright.
楽しくやれればいいじゃないか。
It's a matter of life and death, Keji.
そうすごむなよ。
快速第一条、狙うのは1位のみ。遊びだからなんていういい加減なプレーは許さない。
It's not just a game, Mom.
海賊第2条。そのためにはあらゆる努力をすることが義務付けられておりますのよ。
The way Sadako said it, it sounded like she was saying, use any means necessary.
もちろん僕も頑張りますです。レナも弱いけどね、精一杯頑張ってるの。
I knew what they were trying to say. In a game where everybody's aiming for the top, it's rather unsportsmanlike to play it just for fun. So what game we played, CSGO?
よし、俺も本気でやってやるぜ。
With that, I was finally ready for the rite of initiation, my baptism into the club.
ケイちゃんに一応忠告ね。レナも結構えげつないからね。
This initiation looks like it's going to be rough. Mion began fishing around in the student lockers in the back of the room. They have the games here at the school? Well, it's club equipment, so I guess that's fine.
難しいゲームはケイちゃんだけに不利だからね。
Okay, so our first game is going to be Risk.
今日は誰にでもわかるゲームにしよう。スタンダードにトランプのじじ抜きはど
よし、受けてやるぜ。
No idea how to play this. I've never
う？やっ
even
ぱ
heard
り
of it.
罰ゲームがないと燃えないよね。今回はビリに顔面落書きの刑。どう？
Oh, well, shit.
ああ、油性じゃないよね。油性じゃないよね。
Permanent. She wants to draw on our faces with permanent marker?
上等でございますわ。
Sadako cheered the idea on. Of course she didn't. She didn't even flinch at the thought of such a severe penalty. Seemed like she was willing to go. If it's going to be like this, then I can't lose either.
じゃあカード切ってみんなに配るね。
It just goes in a minigame and I actually have to play Old Bachelor. Old Bachelor is pretty much the same as Old Maid. I don't even know what Old Maid is! There's only one difference. There's no Joker. In its place, one card is pulled out at the start, meaning there will be one card without a match left over at the end. You don't know which card will end up being the Joker. It's a pretty filling game.
じゃあ1枚抜くね。
Oh shit, got the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh music. Mion took out one card and left it face down the table. Everybody stared at the card intently.
終盤になればおのずとわかるし、最初はどうしようもないよな。
But the rest of them were very serious. They didn't seem as relaxed as I was. They compared their cards to the one face down, all the while gauging each other's reactions. It was as if they could see what the face down card was. No, it couldn't be.
このトランプ結構傷物だろ。まさかみんなにはその傷でそこに伏せたカードが
快速第2条ですわ。ケイチさんも勝つために最善の努力をなさいませ。いくつかのカードは特徴的だからケイチ君にもすぐ覚えられるよ。
Alright. She said that so matter-of-factly.
上等だぜ。
Time
この程度でハンデになると思うなよ。
to go into my gamer mode. I lashed out angrily, but it was rather obvious I was at a disadvantage. After all, they'd gone so far as to memorize the wear and tear for each individual card. This wasn't a simple game of patchwork. If this was a test, then they were playing with the anti-sheet right in front of them! Bring it! I'll take advantage of your carelessness and beat you at your own game. That baseless confidence would soon be crushed.
ケイちゃんの手札を右から言うぜ。3、4、9、ジャック、クイーン。
ちなみにジジはダイヤの J なのです。どうカードを入れ替えたって見え見えですわ。上がりですな。
I thought I was prepared, but for it to be this brutal, just overwhelming.
鬼だ。こいつらは鬼だ。レナは鬼じゃないよな。
ごめんねケイチ君。こっちがハートの3だよね。上がり。
Not even a hint of mercy. Rena, even Rika-chan. These club activities weren't to be trifled with. And the ruminous of this club would have definitely survived in the cruelest of situation. If our entire class had self-detonating collars strapped to their necks and were dropped into a death match on a deserted island, these guys would probably take it to it like fish to water. I can already picture their joy as they hunt down each of their classmates.
ポイントは減点制ね。着順がそのままマイナス点。トータルで一番少ない人が優勝。
ではケイチはビリなので5です。
There's already a 5 marked down on my scoreboard.
やっぱりさ、綺麗なトランプでやらないとケイチ君に不公平だよ。
At least you're faking with me, Wena.
いいのいいの。ケイちゃんだって男だし。これくらいの逆境は跳ね返せるよね。
No.
貧民風情は逃げ帰って涙で枕を濡らすのがお似合いでございますことよ。
Shut up, Sadako. A petite hand weighed itself on top of my head, which was trembling from uncontainable frustration. It was Rika-chan's.
ファイト、おーです。
Thank you, Rika. Thanks to Rika-chan's words of encouragement, I was able to calm down. You need to be calm, especially when you're cornered. That's the power I can muster during this crisis. Vikuri, Kechi, Maibara. Take your time and look at the cards carefully. Just as Rena said, several of the cards have their own distinct markings, making them stand out. Memorizing them should be pretty simple. Think about what you can do in this situation. Try everything in your power to improve your chances of victory.
うわ、うまいよケイチ君。その調子。
I summon Exodia! That wasn't even the cards! Shut up! I covered the uniquely marked cards with my hands or other cards, arranging them in such a way that they couldn't be seen.
角が割れているのは5だったはずです。上がりましたです。
I couldn't let any of those previous hints slip by me. All information is a weapon. Then it was my turn. Sadako fanned out her cards for me.
欲しいのは7なんだが、これかな。
さーてどうかしら。
Oh wait, now I know what old maiden is. I just remembered. Okay,
聞いてみな
now
い
it
と
makes
わかり
sense.
ませんことよ。
There was a bit of dismay in her expression, like she doesn't want it taken. That kind of expression. I won't let that momentary lapse slip by me.
これだ
Got it. 7 of spades. A chair ooh rang out.
なんですって7は一番わかりにくいはずですのに。
It wasn't for memorizing the markings. Those slight changes in their expressions as I was selecting a card were enough.
ほらケイちゃん隠さない。この傷が確かダイヤの2だったよね。あれ
She was startled by her own misread. Of course, everyone else was too.
あみーちゃんがカード間違えるなんて珍しいね。
違う。ケイちゃん、あんた、まさか。
They told them apart by different marks. That mark was a nail scratch, so I put a new one on it!
ダイヤの2を偽装したというですの？味な真似をするでございますわ。
I love this. This is such a great sequence.
一矢報いましたです。
Crap, crap, crap.
やったねケイチくん。大前線だよ。
Having defeated the Forerunner Mion, my brilliant battle left me ecstatic. But by total points, it was already set in stone that Mion would win, and I would finish last. I laughed heartily, selecting the tone of my voice carefully to get on Mion's
まあ
nerves.
ビリは確定だけどさ最後にミオンから1本取れたから大満足かな
That should be the proverbial slap in the face to Mion, who was at the top already and shared victory.
この回、仮にケイちゃんが1着になっても、トータルビリが確定するんだけど。
You may have won the
嫌でしょ。
war, but I won the battle,
当たり前
Mion.
だ
一騎打ちしようよ。ワンチャンス。勝てたらケイちゃん1位で私ビリの大逆転。なんてどう？乗るでしょ？
She fell for it. A chance for an upset that wouldn't be possible without goading her into it.
ワンチャンスだと
One chance, one
ルールを
hit.
説明しろ
Mion discarded 2 cards from her hand and replaced one with the Joker card that was on the table, then shuffled the resulting hand behind her back.
右手のカードと左手のカード。どっちがジョーカーか当てたら、ケイちゃんの勝ち。
今後ろに回した時ジョーカーを抜いたってことはないだろうな
ケイちゃんが負けたら、反対の手のカードも公開するよ。それなら OK でしょ？
The other 3 gulped nervously at this unexpected turn of events.
よし乗ってやる
Mion grasped one card in each hand and thrust them out at me. First, I needed to inspect them closely. The card on the right had no distinguishing marks. I couldn't tell which one it was.
どっちだろう。ケイチくん、慎重にね。
50-50
ああもち
chance.
ろんだぜ、逆転の大チャンスだ
Looking closely at the card on the left, I saw a little rare. It wasn't the one I hadn't seen before.
あのカードは。
I didn't let that bit from Sadako slip by me. Mion clucked her tongue. I didn't recognize the mark on the left card from the small number that I had memorized. I didn't know what the left card was, but I could tell from Sadako's reaction that the card had already appeared during the game. Since it had already appeared before, it meant that it definitely wasn't the Joker.
ケイちゃんは右のカードを疑ってる？じゃあ右にする？右？
The left card definitely wasn't the Joker. If I could trust that theory, then I should have been able to declare that the card to the right was the Joker. Even without Mion's taunting, the one on the right was the most suspicious. But wasn't it a bit too rash to decide based solely on Sadako's reaction? More carefully. Ha! I remember now. That mark, the left card, no doubt about it. The 7 of clubs!
きっとクローバーの7だね。
I've won! The card on the left was the Seven of Clubs! So that means the card on the right was the Joker! And then, just before my hand touched the white card, I froze.
さすがミオンだよ。
There was a wave of murmurs amongst the onlookers at my sudden halt, right before I confirmed the white card was the Joker.
ケイイチさんは何を言ってるのでございましょう。だって左 C です。
へえ。ケイちゃんはどうして右がジョーカーじゃないって確信できるの？
Mion let loose an unexpected question. Everyone else was baffled.
右のカードが何かは俺にもわからないさ。だが、左のカードがクローバーの7だってことだけはわかる。
じゃあ残る右のカードがジョーカーなのじゃありませんこと？必ず左右どっちかがジョーカーという約束でしょ？
ああ、左右のどっちかにジョーカーがあるのは本当だろうか。
ケイイチは勘がいいです。リカちゃん、それってどういう？
つまりさ、クローバーの7はさっき俺がサトコのスペードの7と合わせて捨てたカードなんだよ。
Oh shit. Everyone's attention snapped to the discarded pile at the same time. The truth of the matter couldn't be discerned from that sloppy
つま
pile.
りミオンは捨て札を1枚拾って左のカードに重ねている。つまり
そうか、わかった。左のカードをクローバーの7に見せかけているんだね。
It was the first time since the start of the match that a shadow ran across Mion's expression, and I didn't let that slip by. Then, with a grand flourish, I declared it loudly.
ジョーカーは左手だ。
Yeah! It was an intense moment. The 1 second felt like an eternity for everyone there. Breaking that silence, the first one to speak was Mion.
初代部長として私も様々なプレイングを見てきたけど、ケイちゃん、あんたはベストだよ。ベストオブザベストオブザベスト。
That was probably the greatest compliment Mion could give. Mion accepted her defeat, dropping the cards from both hands. My comeback victory! Rika-chan placed her hand on my head and began petting it, congratulating me on my victory.
リカちゃんか？
Rin and Sadako gaped at us as if they seen a ghost.
なんだよレナ。別に俺はインチキしてないだろ。先生堂々と。
Yeah.
リカは慰めるときにしか頭を撫でませんの。
What? Huh? What's the meaning of? At that moment, when I let out a small shriek.
ケイイチくん、こんなことって。
ケイちゃんならさ、ここまで読んでくれると思ってたよ。
My god. Goddamn 4-dimensional chess. Everyone froze. No, it was just me.
賭けだった。ケイちゃんがおてんばさんの早とちりだったなら、負けてたのは私だった。
None of them were the Joker. It was the answer everyone was certain about. Mion picked up the card from the losing hand.
ケイちゃんはさ、この負けを誇っていいよ。
She turned it around. That was the card that proclaimed the victor of this duel. The card under the 7 of clubs. Unbelievable! It was the 2 of diamonds! It was a setup behind a setup! If I just picked the right one without reading so deeply into it.
部長、園崎ミオンの名において、前原圭一、あんたの我が部への入部を許可する。
As I slumped to my knees, dazed, everyone let out a round of applause for the excellent effort I gave despite my defeat.
これにて決着。本日の優勝は私、園崎ミオン。栄えあるビリは
Everyone made a commotion. applauding cheerfully. I felt I was bested, but I was so suddenly beaten that it unexpectedly felt rather refreshing.
みーちゃんが後ろ手で細工した時またやるんだって思ってドキドキしちゃった。
God damn it. Should've just fucking got the right one.
ケイイチさんが正解に触れる直前で止まった時にはかかったって思いましたわ。
I wonder if that's supposed to be like the mystery behind it. Don't think too much about it. Or maybe it's a distraction. Maybe reverse psychology. Yeah, whatever.
見事に引っかかってくれましたです。
Huh? Hey, wait. All of them knew from the start and still got so excited so earnestly?
楽しくなるようにみんなで盛り上げましたですよ。
You...
お前らみんな鬼だ人手だし
God damn it.
さてケイちゃんに
Oh, god damn it, no.
今日は部活の初日だしね。ソフトに行こうかね。
Please.
いきなり登校拒否になられちゃ困るし。
The other three members held down my arms and shoulders firmly. Mion approached, licking her lips. Oh god. Her right hand went to pull something out of her pocket. That's a full tip marker. It's a giant permanent one.
さて行くよ。
This is against the wall, god damn it! She took the cap off the marker and brought it slowly up to my face while I was immobilized.
いやめろ
And this is how Keiji dies. I let out my death throes. Yep. And that's the last we ever heard of Kenji. Keiji. Keiji? Kechi? Kenji? Keiji. It's Kechi. Yeah, it's Kechi. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not good at pronunciations, if you couldn't tell from my other videos. As soon as the club activities were finished, Rena flew off. Probably so she could dig out that cute Colonel Randy that she wasn't able to take home yesterday. So today it was just Mion and me walking home together. Rather rare occurrence.
宝の山か。捨ててる連中もまさかレナに感謝されてるとは夢にも思わないだろうね。
Mountain of treasure, meaning that damn construction site before. Alright, Mion would probably tell me. That murder by dismemberment that seemed to have happened there.
あそこさダムの工事現場なんかあったんだろ昔。
そりゃあったよ、戦いが。
Excuse me?
座り込みやったりデモをやったり。
Oh. It was a bit different from what I wanted to hear, but I decided to listen just the same.
自分たちの土地がダム湖に沈むんだもんな。俺だって戦うだろうな。
役人どもは本当に一方的だった。偉そうで威張ってた。金で解決できないと悟ると、あらゆる嫌がらせをしてきたんだよ。
Oh, so?
いやらしい奴らだった。
Mion spoke excitedly as if the whole thing was happening right in front of her.
よく勝てたな。相手は国だろ
Yeah. Really convenient that the overseer of the dam mysteriously got dismembered. Really interesting.
村長や村の有力者たちがね、方々に陳情した。東京にも行ったし、いろんな政治家に根回しもした。そうしてるうちに計画は撤回されたんだよ。
Okay. Went to Tokyo, struck deals, huh? Okay.
私たちの完全勝利だった。
暴力沙汰とかにはならなかったのか傷害事件とか殺人。
なかった。
She promptly cut me off, same as Rena had. Her words signaled the end of the discussion. Tomokazi-san said one arm wasn't found in the incident. I thought that a murder by dismemberment had occurred, but I guess I was wrong. My curiosity unsated, I sighed dejectedly inside.
じゃあね、また明日ね。ケイちゃんそれ 家に帰るまで消しちゃダメだからね。
わかってるよ。消さねえよ。
It cuts to a portrait of Kechi, who has a giant dick on his face. Mion held back her laughter while stealing glances at my face. I wonder what kind of nasty doodles they drew. Damn you, Mion, you shall rule this day. If our rules are ever reversed, I'm going to go all out, all over your face so you won't be able to take it off, even with a scouring pad. But that murder at the dam, it wasn't even a construction worker, it was the overseer for the construction. So, I mean, come on. Upon arriving home, I ran straight into my mom, embarrassing myself yet again. The mood I'd come home to was already on edge. It's not an uncommon thing in our family. Whenever Dad can come up with a good idea, it always ends up like this. He stomps around the house with his arms crossed. Mom whispered in my ear.
おかえりケイチ。お父さん大変そうだからそっとしてあげてね。
またアイデアに詰まったわけ？
今回は締め切りが重なったからね。お父さん充電期間がないと大変だから。
Dad's paintings feed our entire family. If he runs out of ideas, then it's the end of them. My boy, yes. We've never gotten hungry before. Could it be that my dad is a master
家
painter?
の中をうろうろしないで、表に散歩でも行った方がアイデアが出るんじゃねえの？
今回は生活空間がテーマだから、
I mean,
お父
fair
さ
enough.
んこの家をモチーフにしたいみたい。
That's quite a bothersome motif.
エイジ、部屋の中を少しは片付けなさい。みっともないぞ。
ごめん。後で片付けるよ。
Oh, come on. Please don't use my room as the
ケイ
motif.
チ、お夕飯までまだ時間があるから、表でも散歩してらっしゃい。
Dad's moods are only temporary. As soon as he gets an idea, his mood improves and he starts humming. Till then, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just go take a walk so I don't aggravate him further.
じゃあそうするかな。
Oh, coming up with new ideas. It is very, very hard to do. I said I was going to take a walk, but I didn't have any particular destination in mind. I just needed to kill some time. I got on my bike and pondered where to go. I could just go read at the bookstore, but it would take about an hour by bike to get to town. It would be dark by the time I got back, so I didn't want to go unless I had to. The roads at night here in Hamazawa creep me out. If Mion and Sadako ever found out about that. I smiled wearily. Oh yeah. One of us probably still at the Mountain of Treasure, the damn construction site. The excavation of Colonel Andy was probably taking her a while. It wouldn't be so bad to have her owe me one.
次の部活の時に恩返ししてもらえるかもしれないしな。
With a little bit of self-interest in mind, I set off towards the damn construction site. Tomoki-san might be there as well. The only person with information about the incident both Lena and Mion and denied knowing anything about. If I met him again, I'd like to ask him for more details. To ask, was he really dismembered here in Hamazawa? That was my real intention. Man, these are really good backgrounds. I spotted Lena struggling up the slope of the garbage pile. It looked like Colonel Randy was watching there pretty firmly. It didn't look like Lena wouldn't be able to excavate him by herself. Realizing that Tomoki-san wasn't around, I began climbing down the slope unsteadily.
よーレナ、精が出ますな。
ケイチ君、どうしたのこんなところへ。
Place like this, huh? I see. She was aware of that at
事
least.
故発生の緊急通報を受け参上しました。負傷者はどこでありますか？
事故って、
ランディ君人形がゴミ山に生き埋めになっているとの通報でしたが。
Gotta save him! He was a great man!
なんだ、びっくりした。ケイチ君脅かさないでよ。
冗談だよ。レナが一人で困ってるだろうなって思ってさ。
レナの
Rena, no. Well, I filled my quota for today. If I don't see Rena blush at least once a day, then I'm not getting my daily required nutritional intake.
冗談だよ。こっちまで恥ずかしくなるだろ
冗談ってどこからだろうどこからだろう
Oh, Rena. I just ignored her
う。ほれ、
bewilderment.
どいたどいた。で、どこだよ、ランディ君は。
あ、ごめん。ほら、この隙間から見える？
こりゃ本当に生き埋めだな。
Take him out of there! Colonel Randy was sideways, surrounded by boards and other construction materials, like they were caging him inside. According to Rena, it wasn't like this yesterday. As soon as Colonel Randy is unleashed upon this world, that's when everything goes to shit. It's a fucking SCP. It seems as though another illegal dumper came yesterday, dumped again, and now he's buried like this.
この山を一人でどけるつもりだったのか？
Yeah, jeez.
その細い腕で。
There's no way she would be able to do with that with her slender arms.
でもランディ君人形かいいんだもん。
Okay, we're going to get fucking
お
Colonel
店の
Randy
ラ
out
ン
of
デ
there.
ィ君には鎖がついてるけど、これならお持ち帰りできる。
If Rena gave up on this Colonel Randy, she'll probably start devising a plan to steal the one in front of the store. So Rena Ian's guardian, I won't allow her to sully her hands with
ど
crime.
いてろよ。俺がやる。
Rena blushed again, but this time I left it alone. This pile was enormous. Also, the more days we wasted, the more likely another illegal dumping would occur. If it got buried any deeper, there would be nothing that could be done.
ケイチ君、レナも手伝えるよ。手伝わせて。
帰って邪魔になるから下がってろって。よいしょー。
Come on, Colonel Randy! Pulling out scraps, bending them, tossing them aside, I quickly became covered in sweat and dust. Flying objects drew beautiful arcs across the twilight sky, one after another. Lumber, timber, plywood. Damn it! No matter how much I flew out, there was still more. Even though I could see Colonel Randy right there. To Grant standing like that in front of Rena, I felt frantic because of how little I had progressed.
本気でやるなら、オノとかノコギリとかがいるかもしれねえな。
We got Crow on his way out.
もういいよ、ケイチ君。すごい汗だよ。そんな無理しなくてもいいよ。
レナのためにやってるだけだ。
We're getting Colonel Randy, goddammit! Rena began sputtering and turned beet red. Ah, whoops. I meant to say I was just trying my best so as to keep her from becoming a criminal. Oh well.
さすがに休憩。
Jesus, it's fucking dawn. I mean, not dawn, fucking sunset. I sprawled on my back over the grassy slope.
ごめんね、ごめんね。すごい汗だく。
Rena patted her handkerchief against my forehead. Felt pretty nice.
あのさ、ちょっとここで休んでてね。私、家近いから。
It is.
麦茶とか持ってきてあげるね。
Leaving the handkerchief on my forehead, Rena took off running. The cries of Higurashi generally cooled the air. After I was certain that Rena was gone, I picked myself up and headed towards what I discovered earlier. That was a garbage pile of magazines and newspapers bound out in twine. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe it was around here. There it was. There were bound stacks of not-so-reputable tabloids. They were stacked chronologically, going back quite a few years. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. If it was just as Tomadaki-san said, then undoubtedly there would be mention of the murder. These are troubled times. There's no end to these sickening incidents. There's a large part of society drawn in by these incidents as well. So it had to be recorded. Somewhere. I unfastened the packages and opened the rain-soaked pages carefully, looking over the table of contents. Not here. Next one. Not here. Next one. It was hard to search since I didn't know when it happened. I didn't know who the perpetrator or the victim was either. I only knew it had happened here. I looked up every so often, checking to see if Wena had come back or not. I wouldn't want her to see me gawking at a dirty magazine, but it wasn't just that. Both Wena and Mion said they didn't know, but it had happened without a doubt. As long as Tomariki-san wasn't lying, then if both Wena and Mion... Ah, yeah, there it was. If they had just said that, then I wouldn't have gotten so hung up on it. An incident neither Rena nor Mion wished to talk about, trying to uncover it after they tried to conceal it out of good intentions. That made me feel like I was acting against my friends. Himizami dam worker lynching murdered by dismemberment. Here it is. The featured article was in the back, and it seemed that there was a photograph in the cover pages at the front. The pages of the featured article were stuck together and weren't easy to open. When I couldn't return at any moment. Fearing wash, I gave up and opened the photograph page. The police investigators were carrying a body bag, and newspaper reporters were all bathing in the camera flashes. The image was blurry and hard to understand, but I could definitely make out the headlines. A tragic nightmare at the Imizama construction site, lynching and murder and dismemberment. The victim was a site foreman. He had assaulted his assailants daily with an explosive background from his daily actions. It's a horrible image to see the site foreman as. It happened. It really did happen. It seemed the details were on the next page. I turned the page without pausing. On it was... The assailants butchered the victim's body with hatchets and pickaxes, then used an axe to split the cadaver into 6 pieces: the head, arms, legs, and torso. I could understand just from the headline that it was just too terrible an incident. Normally, lynching is just assault and murder, right? Dismembered with hatchets and pickaxes. Jesus. That wasn't a lynching. It was a merciless killing to the letter, a brutal murder, done by a group of people with hatchets, with pickaxes, with a hatchet. What the fuck? What? Jesus Christ, what the fuck was that? Wena dropped the hatchet she was holding onto the glass after being startled by my voice. I thought you were bringing tea. Lena fluttered her arms in a panic, continuing to explain and apologize. It seemed I'd been glaring at her pretty intensely.
ごめん。ちょっとオーバーに驚きすぎたかな。
Jesus. Never explained. So it was hatchets and pickaxes? Shit. Night was drawing close. I was pretty worn out, and it wouldn't hurt to do the rest tomorrow.
最後の針はそのナタじゃないと壊せそうにない。せっかく持ってきてくれたんだし、明日借りるよ。な。何しょんぼりしてるんだよ。明日にはランディ君が掘り出せるんだぜ。
そうだよね。早くランディ君をお持ち帰りしたい。
We both knew that was useless to apologize any more than that. I quenched my thirst with the barley tea when I brought home she didn't bring it, and wiped off the sweat that had now gone cold. We took the path to head home. I felt quite guilty about the tabloid wrapped up in my jacket. Yeah, take the evidence with you, man, just in case. Ooh, jeez, fuck. Ooh, that music too. That was good. New tips. Okay. Should we keep going? Yeah, let's keep going. Let's go ahead and save. Yes. Thank you. Alright, it's a few new tips. Special tabloid report. Okay, the Himazama Dam project. Okay, what is this? Quite curious. October 1975. In accordance with the Prime Minister's Bulletin number Himizawa's electrical development master plan was announced. The vast scope of the projected Himizawa Dam was to have an incredibly heavy impact in the village of Himizawa. The area to be flooded by Himizawa Dam would include the 5 areas of Himizawa, Takasoto, Kyoto, Matsumoto, and Higurashi. The submerged area would include 291 houses, population 1,251, 1 elementary school, 1 middle school, 1 post office, 1 agricultural cooperative, 1 forestry department, 1 bird 5 shrines, 2 temples, and 1 fishery. All these communal, cultural, agricultural areas and places of worship were to be indefinitely submerged at the bottom of the artificial lake basin. Okay, that makes a little more sense. You know, if they were going to flood the place, then that would probably unnerve or make the residents of the place very fucking mad. Mad enough to go to murder, I guess. Forsaking the hundreds of years our ancestors poured their blood and sweat into this fertile, resource-rich land was just too painful to bear. All the residents having homes that were to be submerged banded together and created the Ongavachi Defense Alliance. The dam project was halted and petitions to alter the plan were circulated. The citizens sought peaceful negotiations, but the government and its puppet company openly refused. Performing unspeakable, heinous acts, they crushed the democratic actions of the villagers. But the villagers did not falter. Instead, they banded together even more closely and sealed the resolve to protect their homes to the death. The continuation of that frightening Himizawa Dam construction project is still stalled as of today. The villagers understand that the stalling was caused by sublime power through unity, and they understand that this fearsome plan has not yet been fully withdrawn. The Ongavashi Defense Alliance had been dissolved after it did its part, but the feelings of unity it garnered have not yet been extinguished. As long as that passion resides in the hearts of the residents, they'll be able to confront whoever next decides to sink their homes into a lake basin. Ongavashi Defense Alliance Committee Chairman Kiachu Kimuroshi. Okay, so that came from like the perspective of the Defense Alliance, which probably would, but it did not mention the murder of the fucking foreman. How can you not mention the foreman? Because that is a big part in like halting a construction project if the fucking foreman of the construction is murdered, like brutally murdered, like he was dismembered. Special tabloid report. Doesn't mention any of that, and that came from the defense. Okay. Nightmare befalls the Himizawa Dam. Okay, this is the full lake. Lynching, murder, and dismemberment on X day of X month and X preacher at the Himizawa Dam construction work site in Chishabone City. A bone-truly gruesome murder dismemberment. Even though this case has shocked the archaeological, the police will give no details on the case. Exactly what happened at the Himizawa Dam? They probably didn't mean to kill him at first, but as the victim resisted by swinging around a shovel, the rest of the perpetrators armed themselves in return, and it quickly escalated to homicide. So said the aforementioned investigator A. After this bloody tragedy was over, they were left with a body which nobody could have mistaken as alive. Axon had tormented the suspects daily with his rough behavior. At first, it was meant to be payback. All of the perpetrators were horrified by their deed, and one even turned himself in to the police. It was the de facto leader of this group who suggested hiding the body. Reluctantly at first, they soon began to think they did not wish to be caught. The construction site had numerous places to hide the body with 6 people. So 6, okay. They were originally supposed to hide the body and leave the area, but the de facto leader feared that the consciousness of the other 5 wouldn't be able to bear the burden, and came up with a horrifying method to keep them from turning him into the police. He devised the heinous method of splitting up the body among them and making them each of them responsible for hiding a piece. X had turned a simple manslaughter into a gruesome dismemberment and forcefully involved each perpetrator in order to create a sense of unity between them. Each one participated, but what does this mean? Person A spoke out reluctantly. had ordered each and every one of them to dissect a piece for themselves, they were hesitant at first, but nobody refused. In for a penny, in for a pound was what it meant. Thus, an unimaginable bloody ceremony began. The perpetrators wept and vomited as they performed the gruesome task. There was one person who suddenly refused, but X threatened them, saying nothing would change if someone else ended up dead, and he gave up in his objections. But X's plan collapsed in the span of one night. XX, who had refused to dissect the corpse up until the last moment, had broken down into tears at the hospital where he was being treated for an injury sustained during the scuffle and confessed. The criminals were arrested one after the other, but the de facto leader's whereabouts are still unknown. Also, the right arm hidden by has yet to be found. Despite an ongoing search, this horrible individual has so far managed to elude law enforcement. What could the police be doing? It appears that XX had said he was going to throw the body, right arm, into the marsh. XX's car was discovered abandoned near the marsh. There were no clues to his whereabouts. Didn't trust his companions. One cannot deny the possibility that he had expected his companions to confess to the police and use his car as a decoy. Of course, I doubt that theory. Since he has no car, one would expect him to have a limited area to which he could have escaped to. But within the station, there were rumors going around that he had accidentally slipped and drowned in the marsh where he went to throw away the body. To the locals, that marsh is believed to be bottomless. It's known as Onikafuchi, the Ogre's Abyss, and it's said that the bottom of the marsh is connected to the hellish world of demons. The atrocious demon from hell that was XX. Could it be that he had returned to hell through the marsh? Oh, Jesus Christ! The sin dragon, bringer of luck and fortune, preposterous future, ladies weeping into your arms, business success, promotions, ambition, protection from harm. Not just with Chico and horse races, but business and even love. Guaranteed or your money back. Sin jacket, place with DX, one piece. It's 27,800 yen. Well, it is a tabloid, so I mean, that's true to life. I mean, just like after explaining a brutal murder, it's like, oh, go check out our fucking business, money back. Okay. So it seems like okay. So here's what happened. We don't know were the perpetrators the workers on the construction site, or were they villagers? That's the question. I feel like it was villagers. Because from the perspective of the villagers, they say the federal government did some heinous things, which they haven't elaborated on at all. Like, what heinous things did they do? And so, after a scuffle, the group accidentally kills the person, which there's 6 of them. And so one person decides, how about we cut them up? Each of us, gets a piece, and therefore everyone's in on it. If any of you rat us out, we're all fucked, basically. So, and one of them broke and turned himself in. So the question is, who was the person that came up with this plan? That's the question. That's the biggest question. I'm liking this. I think this is a good time to stop. But yeah, we got new information about the murders, like what it was about, who it was, and yeah. If you liked this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something? Put it down in the comments below. Want to check out my Discord server or the Twitter? Check in my description below. And yeah, it's been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!
Have you ever wanted to play